Well, welcome. Today we have a guest with us. Today I have Dr. Tamir Qadree with me. He's the Dean of Dynamic Results. Dr. Qadree holds a dual doctorate in metaphysical philosophy, specializing in personal development, coaching, mentoring, and mind and mystical research. And he's here with me today because he wants to tell you how you can increase your results and have a more dynamic life. This guy has been around. He believed that we can achieve just about anything. And I don't know about you, but here on the Resilience Catalyst podcast, we like to talk about your ability to achieve whatever you want. So, welcome today, and Dr. Qadree, welcome.
It's a pleasure.
My pleasure to have you with us. So tell me, what if, in a nutshell, tell our audience what you do?
In a nutshell, what I do is with my mindset strategies that I operate, I help people transform, entrepreneurs transform obstacles into opportunities and to fuel success with rapid transformational shifts, mindset shifts in under 30 days. Everything is a result of something. How do you shift your mindset to get to the results quicker, faster, more accurately, and more consistently? That can be done, and that's my pleasure. I've been doing it all my life, and I decided to teach it and to show people how to do that.
That's excellent. That's amazing.
All right.
Right. So I love that the energy and the voicing that we can achieve what we want to. So tell me more about that and where it's coming from.
Very good question. Here's the idea of achieving what you want. Most of us think that achieving what you want is basically this, that, A, B, C with no obstacles. Well, there are going to be obstacles. There are going to be tests and trials, period. But they are there for you, not against you. So the first thing we do, we see trials and we want to run. When things happen, when you can't make the appointment, when things keep getting in the way, that means you're on track. Here's the key. The key is the mindset shift, how you view it, how you view the obstacles. The obstacles are the pathway to where you want to go. So if you're having a hard time in business, relationships, look at that. Why is this happening? When you ask that question, why, you'll start to get answers. Here's why. You have to bust through that mountain. That's another obstacle. Look at all problems like that. What can I learn? Instead of trying to avoid them, how do I blast through it? How do I go around and up over it? But how do I not avoid it? What do I learn from it? That's the way people need to think in the beginning to understand your problems are not against you, they're actually there for you. They
Mhm.
really are.
Yeah, I believe so. For someone who studies resilience, writes on resilience, talk about resilience, many people think that resilience is about getting up when you fall down, but I think resilience is also about staying the long haul, being able to move past the hurdles in your way and keeping your mind focused on your end goals. So tell me a little bit about how you help your clients to be what I call resilient, what you may call achieving their goals.
Very good question. Here's what we all do. We all creatures of habits. Everything we do from brushing our teeth to eating is a habit.
Mhm.
Okay? And one thing we need to look at about habits, habits are this. Habits are mental diehards. They're grooved into your brain, your physiological brain. And
Mhm.
so when something happens and you say you're not going to do it, then something triggers that, you end up doing it. It's because there's a groove in your brain that's like cement and it's been there. And the more you feed it, the stronger it gets, even when you think you don't want it. Okay. So it's important to learn how to shift those habits. You can shift the habit by replacing it with another habit, by
Mhm.
cauterizing the habit in your brain and place it with a new groove. And
Mhm.
then that becomes a new pattern.
Mhm.
That can happen in a day. It can happen in 6 months. It can happen in 30 days. That depends on the individual. But I teach people how to rapidly do it, how to rapidly shift that,
Mhm.
okay, through a process of affirmation and a process of, there's a process of cauterizing that habit, okay, to change that habit, and then you change what you get. If you change the habit, you got to
Mhm.
change what you get. As long as you have the
Absolutely.
habit, go ahead.
Absolutely. And I mean, you're talking about building your neural pathway, right? In order for a neural pathway to grow, we have to, let more blood flow to that neural pathway. As we do the other thing less, then of course the blood flow there limits, and then this one grows, this one dies. And I mean, that's basic biology. We understand that. It's I think we have to want to do that. We have to
Of
make a
course,
choice to do that.
of
And
course.
often we're not making choices because we lack the intelligence to make the choices that are good for us, the choices that will get us to where we need to go, because maybe it doesn't look as sexy. Maybe it will take too much work. And this is all our mind that's feeding us that information. So, how do we get someone who's completely unaware that they need to grow and change to a place where they are recognizing that this is something they need and then being committed enough to do it?
Good question, long question. First of all, they have to recognize that there's the issue. You have to state what you want to do. What do you want? Okay. How's that been going for you? Okay. Why do you want that? The questions are very important.
Mm-hmm.
Who, what, when, where, how, and why.
Why?
Why?
Absolutely.
Ask
Mm-hmm.
the question. Once you know where they're going, ask them what do you do? How do you wake up in the morning? What do you do when you get up? What do you do when you go to your networking events? How do you recruit? How's your recruiting going? What steps you take? A series of probing questions. Once you ask the question, you can identify the habit or habits that are the bane and that stop hinder that
Mm-hmm.
progress. Now you can work on that habit. Okay. Now you work on cauterizing that habit to remove that habit to replace it. It's like in law they say repeal and replace. How to repeal that habit? That habit is your law. It became your law. Like brushing your teeth is a law, right? Okay. You can repeal that. You don't repeal that one. So once you know there's a habit there, that's you identify the habit or habits that are hindering your success. Is usually more than one. Now you can say, that's let me focus. Here's the key. The second thing I teach is focus. Focus. Focus on that habit. Not 10 habits, not 10 different things. Focus on that one thing at a time. Okay?
That is so true. But there are people that are still beyond that. They don't even recognize that it's a habit.
I got
They
that.
just, this is happening to me. And I remember I was teaching women in second stage housing, and we were going through my well-being intelligence model. It's very bright, it's big, it shows you the nine dimensions of your life and all the things that the opportunities in there to in each dimension for us to master our life and grow. But many people are unaware. I have been
Yes.
teaching this model now
Yes.
for at least 2 decades. And every time I present, people will tell me, oh, didn't, I never know I have this part of my life. I never really paid any attention to it.
Of course they didn't. That's
Oh,
why they're talking to us.
yes. I'm like, and there are so many people walking around with blinders. So many people walking around with very limited information
Yes.
on how to do basic living well.
Right.
It is scary
Yes.
how many people don't understand how to do basic living, managing your life, not letting life manage you,
Yes.
understanding choices and consequences, being able to critically think and assess and make choices that align for them to go in a particular way or to a particular goal at a certain time. They just do not have that. So, how do we help those people? Because they are in our workplaces, they're in our churches, they're in our families, they're everywhere.
Here's the way to answer that. I answer that question. You're correct. Everybody's not my audience. Okay. I'll tell you why. For part of the reason people call and talk to me, I ask the questions to find out. Part of coaching is to show them what they don't see. That's why we go to
Mm-hmm.
doctors. If they
Absolutely.
knew it, they wouldn't need me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that's part of the enigma of strategizing with people to do a deep dive examination. Here's something I never do. When I talk to a client for a 30-minute consultation the first time, I never try to get them to buy coaching or anything, even the second time. Here's why. I need to properly diagnose your situation by knowing what you want, what you're doing, how you're feeling about that thing. How did you come to do that thing? For instance, let's talk about sales. You're making so many sales a week. You're making 10. You want to get to 12. You don't know how to get there. Well, there's subtle things you can do, shifts. If you're already having success at getting 10, believe me, 12 is only a snap away. 5 is only another snap away. All you have to do is learn how to increase with not necessarily more work, with the proper mindset shift that's going to give you the right mindset to utilize your time better and to enjoy the process. That's a process of discovery. What I do, I don't go out and just get random people because, like you said it so well, Joyce. We all have those same issues one way or another, or another. But you have to be willing to and want to. So I don't go out looking for clients. I find the people that are looking for mindset development, mindset coaching, that know they want assistance from the right person. I work with those people because they're ready. I don't prepare people. They can buy my ebooks and all that and get prepared. I don't work with
Mhm.
the kindergartners. I work for those who know what they want, but don't know how to get there, don't have the proper mindset tools, want to enhance their tools. They're in the self advancement. No matter how much you give an elephant a banana, the elephant may not want to eat that banana.
Mhm. Mhm.
I can't help the world, but I can assist those that are ready, that are looking for mindset shifts, mindset development.
You're very correct in that. And I think when you look at it from a coaching perspective, and I was just speaking at it from a resilience catalyst perspective,
Yes,
but putting on my coaching hat, you're very correct. We don't coach people that are not our ideal clients, and we don't coach people that are not ready for coaching. We have a process to identify if people are coachable or not. And then there are certain people that we're not meant to coach. So we do have to
exactly.
assess that for ourselves to be successful and for the client to be successful. In the work that I do with the well-being intelligence system, the big part of what we do, and even when we develop our new platform that we've done now, the Wiz Resilience platform, we've built in an entire 10 set of awareness building questions just to get people to be aware before we take them into the nine dimensional. For each dimension they go in, but they get that awareness. Do you understand that this is an element of your life? And do you understand what it does for you? And did you know that in this element of your life, it by optimizing it, you will experience XYZ? Because people don't know. And I've seen this for decades. They have no clue.
Well,
And
here's
it's my job to prepare them even to start assessing how well they're doing in that area of their life. Because when you just tell them, before we used to just say, how well do you think you're doing in that area? Like, oh, hmm, I don't know. I didn't even know. Why is that important? And so we've taken that data and we've come back and say, now we're going to create awareness for you on how well you are doing it, but why this is important to you, and tie it back into your daily life. So you see why it's important. So now you have a motivator because people don't do anything without motivation. Now you have the information, the intelligence to motivate you. And we know, I think Whitmore says, awareness creates action, right? And so when they have that awareness, now there is that motivation to act because, oh, well, now that I know what that does, then I want to see how well I'm doing in this area so I can fix it, right? So we get people saying, how, I don't like my numbers. I want to change that because, and so it's a process. So we do have to give people that place to start understanding, because not everybody's at the place. And and some coaches, before they coach with me, and I think you said the same thing, they can get your ebook and they can get all the same, and that's what we've done with the platform. It's really, we give them that place so they can become aware, and then
exactly,
we can now move them into coaching, because I
exactly.
think that's really important.
Yeah. Well, that's very important. Very good point. And let's talk about resilience. I want to speak on resilience, if I may. You're the resilience lady.
Absolutely.
You're the resilience dynamic lady. Tell you about what resilience is. People eat every day. Would you agree? Those that can, they eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner. They'll do certain things every day. Why? Because they feel, of course, eating is something they need to nourish their body and to be healthy. Okay. They feel that even some people want to drive down the street, drive for 30 minutes every day just to clear their mind. Okay. People do things because they either want to avoid pain and suffering, or they want to gain pleasure and happiness. Only two
That's the
motivators
motivator. Hmm.
only two motivators in life people have. Okay.
Mhm.
And so here's the one way to build resilience. What do you want to do? Once you tap into what they really want, who they really are, their life calling, once they tap into that and they become aware of it, they're going to be resilient at it. Resilience is not difficult. The point of resilience in my studies and the way I've learned is doing what you love. What's the value? What value is going to bring to you, to people? What value is going to serve your audience? What value you're going to give? And once you that value is tied to your heart, your feelings, you're going to be resilient at it. I've been doing this all my life. That's what
That's
builds resilience. That
that's
love, that feeling.
absolutely. And you know what? Yes, and there is more. There is
Yes,
more because most people, when they hear about reason, they're like, okay, you mean when I fall down, I will get back up, bouncing back. And that's the simple definition of resilience. But it's much broader than that
yes.
because it's more than just falling down and getting up and bouncing back, but it's also staying the course.
Keeping
It's
your eye on the
also
prize, keeping your eye on the
exactly
prize, not
staying
just
the
getting back up.
course. Yes.
Yeah.
And it's also recognizing that you can fall more than once.
So what?
Exactly. Right. And that's the reason is staying the course. Because just like a baby, when we have a baby, the baby starts crawling and it falls. Does the baby ever sit there and say, I'm never going to crawl again? Exactly. We're
But as
born
adults,
with
but
resilience.
as adults, we forget that and lose that. We'll fall and quit. A baby didn't quit. Right.
Exactly.
It's
We
in us.
lost somewhere in our development. We've lost our resilience. A new baby starts walking, holding furniture and walking and stepping and trying to get and tries to go over there and falls down because the stretch was too much. The baby may cry for a minute or two, but then it's back on again. But somehow in our development as adults, as we move into adulthood, we've lost our ability to be resilient.
Do you know
We
why?
put so much shame and blame
You
and
don't want to know
this,
why?
that. Okay,
Yeah, one
let's
of the reasons why. You're right. Here's one of the reasons why we do that. Because society beats it out of us. Don't do this, don't do that. Go to school, do this, follow this program. And so we're so busy following program. Rules are necessary. We understand that.
rules are
Laws are
necessary for
necessary.
order. Yes,
But when our human will, our development is beat down, don't do this, do this to be successful. We teach people that money, success is equated with money. People have money, that's success. No, I teach people equate money with success. Equate money. Success is a thing, money is a tool. Success is
absolutely.
the thing,
There are
money is
many
a tool.
currency. You know what? I want to go further into this. I love this conversation because there are currencies of life. I focus on the currency of resilience. There are people who I think that we start to look at money as the only currency in life.
Yes,
Money is one of the currencies of
currency.
life, right?
Yes.
And we need to look at the other currencies. There's the currency of confidence. There's the currency of faith. There is the currency of trust. There are so many different currencies, but we are so blind to them.
And they're
And so
all interconnected. And they're
exactly,
all interconnected.
they are. And this is what happens with the currency of resilience. It opens your eyes to see you need all of these things to be resilient. You need all of these currencies in your life so you can be successful.
Now,
And most people, they just focus on the currency of money and they
period.
forget about all the other currencies, especially in our AI age that we're living in. It's interesting because I was listening to this podcast, and when the AI expert says, people are just going to AI now and saying, oh, help me write a book. Well, what is your book about? What is your idea? What research have you done? What is it bent on? Who is it for? What so they don't we have lost the ability to think critically, and so now we've become even lazier and we have a resilience deficit because we have not invested in critical thinking. Thinking is a skill. And where do you go to learn thinking in our society? Where do you learn to think?
Oh, what you asking me the question?
Yeah, where is there for if someone doesn't know how to think? If someone we will say, oh, this person is making some dumb decision, but we never ask, I wonder where that person learned their
I,
thinking.
I I understand that. I understand why and how. You see, and I'm going to give you a metaphysical, philosophical, and real answer. Thoughts are things.
Of course.
That's a matter of programming. The thoughts we think determine the results we drink.
Mhm.
Thoughts are things. Our words are powerful. That is true, and I can prove it. Show me anyone's life, including yours or mine, I'll tell you how you think.
Yeah.
Talk to me for 5 minutes, I'll tell you how you've been thinking. I'll tell you why you got what you got, why you got the car you got, why you live with you. I'll tell you exactly why. Why? Because this is universal. It's true for everybody. I
Mhm.
happen to be, and not only me,
Mhm.
have developed a skill set and intuition to bring it out and show it to you. I'll put it right in your face.
Yes.
That's why.
And that's important because so many people are walking around with blinders.
I have no
They can't
idea.
see, they can't live their lives because they don't have the tools.
Here's what I say. Most of us think we're free, but we're really puppets. We're led by the commercials on TV, what somebody else do. We're led by somebody else. Monetary success, they equate success with money instead of money with success, instead of equating money with success. Therefore, they're missing out on the ingredients, the tools that allow you to be happy and successful. He or she who's happy and content is truly successful. You can have $1 billion, have a poverty conscience.
Of
Can I tell you
course, we
why?
look
Can
at
I tell you why?
all the rich people who are killing themselves, all the movie stars, all
You
they
can be
are
a
miserable.
billionaire and have a
Yes,
poverty conscience. Here's why.
absolutely,
Here's why.
absolutely.
Here's why. Say if you have $1 trillion and your wealth is used to just drain society and to get more and more and more, that's a poverty conscience because you
Mhm.
feel you got to take from Joyce and Tamir or this person to get yours more, to get more tax breaks.
Mhm.
Listen, I'm the kind of person, Joyce, that you should pray for and everybody else to get $1 trillion. Why? Why should you pray for Tamir to get $1 trillion? That's so greedy. No, it's not. The money ain't for me. It ain't for me. I'm gonna live a great life with that automatically. How many people can I help? How many schools can I build? How many trees can I plant? How many water facilities can I build? How many desks can
Mhm.
I build for people
Mhm.
around the world? How many
Mhm.
people can I teach self-esteem with that money? That's a tool for me. It's not just for me.
Mhm.
That is prosperity conscience. That's telling the
Absolutely.
universe, let me shower this person with this. This person have the right intent so they can do the bidding. Life is God's gift to us. Our
Mhm.
service to humanity is our gift to God, our saying, thank you. It's all about service. The money will come. Money is a terrible master. It is a wonderful servant. It is just a servant, and
Absolutely.
I appreciate it.
Absolutely. And you know, life is so short. I think you get to your 50s and you realize life is short. How did I get here? And if you're waiting until you're in your 50s to start living life, then you're going to be bitter and regretful. I always say this to my children.
Maybe.
There is a beautiful life ahead of you, and you have to start planning on living it well. And you won't know everything you need to know as a teenager. You won't know everything you need to know as 20. You won't know everything you want to. And 50, you become wiser, but you're still building your wisdom.
Let me say
The
something to that.
truth is, you need to start working on living a compelling life.
Let me say something about that.
Mm-hmm.
Regardless of how you did in the past, it doesn't matter if you're 60 years. It don't matter how old you are. No matter
Oh
what you
no.
did yesterday, it doesn't matter. Here's why. The future is not here. It's out of your domain. The past is gone only now. Let me give you an example to that. Age don't even matter. Here's why. This is my example. It's not nothing. What you said is correct. Here's the way to look at that. Beethoven at 3 started learning music.
Mm.
He recorded his first symphony at
Symphony.
5. He became a presenter at Royal Courts at 6 years old. Helen Keller was born blind and
Blind.
deaf
Yes.
practically. She became a patron of the blind, met with presidents, kings, and queens, and was a great speaker. How do you figure? Blind, a Caucasian woman that they couldn't even vote in those days. Okay, in the
Mm-hmm.
early 1900s, 1800s. Madam C.J. Walker, a black woman,
Mm-hmm.
maybe born 35 years after slavery, if that many. During that time became a
The first
multi-millionaire.
millionaire
Now,
woman.
let's
Yep.
fast forward. I just hit age, the lower age, 3. I just hit a woman, deaf and blind. I hit a woman that's born right out of slavery. When a black person can even look at a white person, they can get killed for it. Okay. She became a millionaire. Colonel Sanders. Let's hit age.
Mm-hmm.
Colonel Sanders became a millionaire at 65 and a
Mm-hmm.
billionaire at 83. There's no reason, there's nothing we can't be, do, and have. So I do away with age
Absolutely.
at
I
any
would
time.
not be working if I didn't believe that. I
I
wouldn't be
know that.
doing this.
And I know,
Absolutely.
well, I didn't say that for you, but for the I know the audience. I know you know that
It's true.
the
Yeah,
audience,
it is.
the
It
audience.
is. And we get wiser every day we live. And it doesn't matter because and that I always say that to my kids. And sometimes my son will say, oh, this guy just signed a $300 million contract for this. And I was like, it doesn't matter how much money they make. What kind of life are they living? Where is he going to be 10 years, 15 years from now? Is somebody going to teach him, or is he going to invest that money into learning how to live
How
life
are they
well?
serving? How are you serving?
Mm,
How are you serving yourself?
mm,
Take care of yourself and your family and your human needy brothers and sisters.
absolutely. It's I love that you're talking about the service because one of the things we teach is that there are 9 dimensions of life. There's the spiritual, there's the social, there's the emotional, there's the occupational, there's the intellectual, there's the environmental, there is the financial, there's the physical, and then there is the interpersonal.
Yeah,
And when we start to look at our life as interconnected and interdimensional, we start to realize that we're not independent. We're not independent of anyone. We are very interdependent.
connected. We are
We
connected. We
are
are one.
interdependent
We're
and we
connected.
need each other. We
Yes,
need a healthy environment. Why would I want to be doing so smashingly well when there are people who I can help with just 1 little % of what I earn? I can make a significant difference in somebody's life.
exactly.
Why wouldn't I want to do that? And I think that's where most people lose their
And
grounding.
and start learning to build. Let's talk about money. Money is a wonderful tool,
Oh, absolutely.
and we need to learn how
Absolutely.
to build generational wealth. Here's
Yeah.
why I say that. How you want to build generational wealth. You want to
Mm-hmm.
be able to build generational wealth. My trust is designed to be around my foundation, my charitable foundation, to feed whole house, clothes. We're putting it all together. I have one now, right? So
Mm-hmm.
my trust is built around that. 100 years from now, 200 years from now, my people I left behind is generational wealth.
Mm-hmm.
It will be tied to that foundation, which is inseparable. In other words, you can work for the foundation, work in it. You have so many benefits. Of course, you're
Mm-hmm.
part of that generational wealth. But
Mm-hmm.
this generational wealth is set up not only for you to have not have money concerns, but you to be able to help to serve people,
You can support the world, the
serve people.
community. Absolutely.
And so the trust cannot, it's not separate from 100, 200 years from now, my offspring, they know, oh, you got to be a part of this trust. You have to
Mm-hmm.
achieve certain things. Okay. You're wealthy. Yes. The potential wealth is there for you right now, but it has to be something involved in fueling this trust. All right. Having positions on the board to feed, the house, to build self-esteem. A lot of people missing things in life. People don't realize one thing about them.
Oh,
It's the food, clothing, and shelter, and education, and medical, but it's a self-esteem. I
it
am good enough.
is.
I'm the
It
best.
is.
I can
It
do
is.
this. God is with me. I'm a winner. It is my time.
You know what? That is so cool that you're saying that because when I created our model in that spiritual place, the self esteem, the core values, the belief, the vision, the purpose that lives, that's that invisible part of us that we don't see, but it's so easy to dismiss. Yet without it, we cannot function. We're not whole human beings. And so there is this resilience crisis. We're seeing more people turn into drugs, more people. And why? Because we've lost that entire dimension of our lives. We no longer feed in our society. It's not even popular to feed it. It's like you're doing something on the odd if you're feeding that element of your life. Yet we're seeing the crime ridden side of society growing because they lack that. If you have good self-esteem, why would you even think of going to take a gun and shooting and killing people?
Because
What?
you're right. Because you don't have the self-esteem is the most self-esteem to me goes to a level of being. My second book is called The Reclining Master Awaken. Okay, 1 minute to healthy esteem. And one guy told me, you can't do it in 1 minute. I said, you don't get the point.
Mm-hmm.
The point is, once you recognize who you are, it happens like that. On my arm is written, I am that I am, in a tattoo. I am
Mm-hmm.
that I am. You see, self esteem is so important. It's so important
It
in the
is.
whole gamut of life.
It
Who are
is.
you? How you feel about yourself? What you see from me now, you feel my confidence. You
Mm-hmm.
see my energy. Here's why I'm so confident, and it's not arrogant. I'm saying it because it's a teachable moment for your audience.
Mhm.
Here's why I'm confident. I know who I am. I don't go around telling people that, they feel that. In a teachable space like now, I'm gonna say it. I am like an oak tree. An oak tree doesn't brag, it's an oak tree. A tiger is a tiger. I am a speaker. I've been doing this all my life, naturally. I'm not afraid of the camera. You can give me a camera right now on a live stage with 70 million people. I'm going to talk. Trust me. Easily. Here's why. I know what I'm here to do. So one of the processes that I go through with people, one of my other courses, what's your true life calling? And I show people, here's how you discover that. It's
Mhm.
been tagging you around all your life. Once you discover that and accept that, your self-esteem will shoot to the roof. You will develop the confidence to command. You will want to learn how to concentrate. The right people like you, Joyce, will come to me. The right people, the right way will come to you once you're open and receptive and aware. When you're aware that there's food on the stove and you're hungry and your mom or wife or sister or friend says there, you're gonna go eat it. You're aware of it. Once you're aware of who you are and the value of your own calling, that confidence draws like a magnet. You don't have to say it.
That is so true, and in this is just such a heartfelt conversation. But I'm considerate of our time here as we wrap up our session. What is one thing that you would say to my audience that's listening, someone who's come to the Resilience Catalyst podcast because they feel that they just can't keep going on anymore? They feel like quitting. They are just giving up, what would you say to them?
I would say one thing in particular. Everything is a result of something. Do you know what you want? What do you want in life? What do you really want? Why do you want it? Tell me what, talk, why? Tell me another why. Everything results from something. Find out what the result of it is and copy that. Okay? There's nothing wrong with being a copycat as long as you copy the right cat.
Mhm.
Not plagiarism. I'm gonna copy what Joyce does. How does she do that? She's successful. How do I do that? Everything is a result of something. If you want to achieve something, ask yourself this one question. What is it the result of? What's that corn the result of? That farmer tilled that soil, prepared that soil, planted that seed, and nurtured it. Everything works like that. Some things take longer to build a rocket. It's going to take more time than cook an egg. Yes. But what is it the result of? We have the ability to create. And one other thing, learn something very powerful. Learn to advance confidently toward your dreams, and you'll meet success unexpected in common hours.
Hmm. I like that. Success unexpected in common hours. Well, Dr. Tamir, thank you so much for being here and sharing with the audience today. I thoroughly enjoyed our conversation. I think we'll have a follow-up conversation one of these days. This
I hope so.
yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for your time. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Take care.